Hello class, I am doing another tutorial with you for a compare and contrast essay. So it's how to write a compare contrast essay, and this is to be used as a guide for your week 4 assignment on comparing and contrasting one architectural work and one sculpture. So with that, let us begin. This is the overview right here. In this section, you will learn how to write a compare-contrast essay. Using a student sample tutorial, a student sample paper, and instructor comments, you will learn what type of material to include and what many professors are looking for in a college-level paper. Use this paper and the comments as a guide when thinking about your own art writing assignments. Let's go to the next screen. Here are two pieces of artwork. The first is the column of Trajan, and the second is the Bayeux tapestry. So once again, we will, in this sample tutorial, compare and contrast the column of Trajan and the Bayeux tapestry. So let us start the tour of a sample compare-contrast essay. Number 1, take notes first. Begin your essay by looking at and taking notes about the works of art that you will be discussing. You might also want to come back to your work several times, going through a similar process of observing and taking notes. In this way, you will develop a very clear sense of the major points you need to address. Next. Number 2, capture the reader's attention. You need an opening sentence that captures a reader's attention through intellectual rather than dramatic means. Let's take a look at this sentence. War and conquest have been constant through history, and artists have commissioned to document human conflict in various times and places. This is a good opening sentence because it introduces a large idea or theme around which you will be composing your essay. Next screen. Number 3, introduce the works and issues. Begin your essay with an introductory paragraph that clearly indicates the two works that you will be discussing. Also use this paragraph to introduce the major issues that you intend to discuss in the body of your paper. However, be careful not to make your introductory paragraph simply a list of what you're going to discuss. In this sense, be sure to provide your reader with an intriguing, clear sense of where you are going in your essay. Above all, remember that your introductory paragraph is a contract of sorts with the reader. Whatever you promise to discuss in your introduction, you need to be sure that you deliver on that promise in the body and concluding sections of your essay. Next screen. Number 4, identify your theme. Here you are directly identifying the major points of comparison contrast that you will be addressing. And an example of it is here in this paper. By comparing these two works, it is possible to explore ways that artists working at different times under different circumstances and in different media have visualized the realities of war and conquest. Next screen. Number 5, describe the work. This statement is useful because it indicates that the column of Trajan is still in its original location. And in this green highlighted area, Let's take a look at this description of the work. The Column of Trajan, which is still standing in Rome, was originally part of the Forum of Trajan. So in this paragraph, we have given a basic description of the Column of Trajan. Next screen. Number 6. Vary the sentence structure. Note the different ways in which the author composes the sentences in this essay. This provides clear variety to the writing and keeps the reader interested. So let's take a look at this green highlighted area here. So if you read this carefully, you will notice that the sentence structure is varied. Next screen. Number 7, provide additional detail. The next part of the paragraph gives additional descriptive information about the Column of Trajan. So once again, here's a Column of Trajan, and here is the additional detail. Let's read it together. Between the two libraries stood the Column of Trajan, 128 feet tall and originally topped by a statue of Trajan. The marble column supports a frieze that represents Trajan's 2 campaigns against the Dacians. Next screen. Number 8. Do provide some context. This sentence is useful right here as it provides some necessary information about the Dacians without going too deeply into a distracting topic. So this sentence reads, the Dacians lived in one region of the Roman frontier around the Danube River in the area of modern-day Romania. Next screen, number 9. Do work from the general to the specific. Right here, let's look at this highlighted paragraph. You will see that this paragraph moves from the general to the specific in making observations about the Column of Trajan. Next screen, number 10. Add transition elements. Here you can see that the author has made a transition from describing the Column of Trajan to describing the Baio Tapestry. So let's take a look at this together. Like the Column of Trajan, comma, see that transition? The Baio Tapestry tells a story of military conquest. Transitions are important in writing. Make sure that your reader understands why you're moving from one subject to another. Next screen. Number 11. Describe the work. Notice that these 2 sentences right here, that the author goes into greater detail about the Baio Tapestry. Let's read this together. Dating to the late 11th century and made of embroidered wool on linen, the tapestry tells the story of the Norman invasion of Britain in 1066. The tapestry is 230 feet long by 1 foot 8 inches wide. Next screen. Number 12. Do provide additional detail. You will see that the author has details right here to mention about the Baio Tapestry that are similar to those that were mentioned regarding the Column of Trajan. This is good because it provides balance to an essay regarding the various points being made. Next screen. Number 13. Explain the differences. Here you will note in this paragraph that the author is getting into the differences between the 2 works. So this one connecting introductory sentence states, important things separate the Column of Trajan and the biotapestry from one another. Next screen, number 14. Use proper vocabulary. This statement in this highlighted area is useful as it shows that the author is aware of the larger historical context of the work being discussed. It also allows the author, using proper technical vocabulary like the term relief, to describe the carving in the column of Trajan. Therefore, using proper technical vocabulary in a formal essay is very useful, for its presence allows for a common understanding between writer and reader on a subject, as it also indicates the level of the writer's understanding of a subject. Next screen. Number 15. Provide additional detail. Notice this sentence. This sentence is useful to communicate the very different sizes and likely functions of these two works. Next screen. Number 16. Explain the similarities. Notice this highlighted area. Different as they are, the column of Trajan and the biotapestry are still united in their purpose of telling the details of historical events, and in doing so in their narrative terms. You will see that in this paragraph, the author begins to make a transition between noting the differences to observing the similarities between these two works. Again, notice the importance of transitions in writing. Next screen. Number 17. Do revisit the theme. Let us take a look at this green highlighted area. You will note that in addition to observing similarities between these two works, the author uses this final paragraph to develop a relationship of similarities to the larger point of the essay, a comparison of two works that takes the reader back to the general theme of the essay about war and conquest. Next screen. Number 18. Our closing thoughts. The final paragraph in your essay is the conventional place to conclude your main ideas and arguments that you have developed in the body of your essay. So notice this green highlighted area down here in conjunction with what I just said. Note how the concluding sentences of this paragraph nicely return the reader to the larger point of the essay about war and conquest, and how the visual arts are used to communicate attitudes about war and conquest. Next screen. This concludes my tutorial for you on how to write a compare-contrast essay. And remember to use it only as a guide for your week 4 assignment, and not as an absolute. And I hope that you will find some helpful information in here for you. And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please contact me, Professor Helena Schell. So with that, you have a blessed day, and I will see you in class. Bye-bye.